Anything in your pocket that's going to stick me? They have to be. It's survival.
But one place at Ironwood teems with even more danger than the yard. The gyms. One on each of the 4 yards. They house 120 inmates packed together, with only 3 officers keeping the peace.
This prison is so overcrowded that all of the facilities, all 4 yards, the gym has been converted into a housing unit for inmates. Can you put some pants on? You're supposed to be in pants. Working in the gym is very dangerous for an officer because of the closeness of quarters and 120 inmates being in here and walking between the bunks. At any given moment, anything could happen. Get your back, gentlemen. You can never let your guard down, especially in the gym, because the inmates are so close to you all the time. Didn't hear the popo coming?
This 6,000 square foot open space houses criminals from opposing races and gangs, crammed together with no cells to separate them. And when violence breaks out, inmates will be ready. They arm themselves with crude and deadly weapons. Officer Michael Smith and the Investigative Services Unit, or ISU, have recovered hundreds of them.
Here we have several weapons that we've discovered throughout the years here at Ironwood, but it kind of shows how ingenious these guys are when it comes to creating weapons within a facility. This is kind of an interesting weapon. We call it the carrot weapon, and it's a toothbrush filed down to a point, and it was inserted into the ground. As you can see, it was wrapped with a lot of shrubbery. It just looked like a weed on the yard. Inmates know where it's at, or the inmates who made it. So it looks like that. If a riot kicks off or something spontaneous happens, they need to retrieve a weapon quickly. They can go to that area, find this weed, pull it up, and they have an instant weapon. Some of the more dangerous ones, and we refer to them as bone crushers, big weapons like this, large piece of metal stock. Bone crushers typically create a puncture type wound. We also have a tomahawk type weapon that would cause a large slicing wound or an incised wound. Very painful, causes a lot of bleeding, made of razor blades.
Weapons like these aren't just used on enemies. Racial groups and gangs will stab members who don't follow rules. New inmates quickly learn race determines who they wreck with, walk with, and who they obey. 22-year-old Roger Cerna has been at Ironwood for 3 months. He hangs with the whites. First arrested at age 18 for a minor drug charge, Cerna took a violent turn when he assaulted an acquaintance.
I'm in prison for attempted murder. Essentially, someone tried to snitch on me, and I decided to take it into my own hands to relieve this person of being able to snitch again.
The courts gave Cerna a 7-year sentence. He's determined that this prison stint will be his last.
It's a vicious cycle. There's nothing good about this cycle. Released to 3 places: jails, institutions, and death. If I don't break this cycle, I could end up back in prison shortly after I parole. I could be 44 years old.
Gang specialist Mike Smith gets word. There's a fight on Ironwood State Prison's A yard. 3 members of a Hispanic gang